You are not here by coincidence. Something within has drawn you to this moment, to this specific video. By the end, you will start to see why. Perhaps recently, you've been feeling overwhelmed, as if your life is unraveling into disorder, filled with uncertainty and challenges that appear meaningless. But consider this: what if these experiences are actually the strongest indicators that you are on the verge of entering the most significant, powerful, and meaningful stage of your life? Have you ever felt like your life was falling apart, only to realize later it was actually preparing you for growth? Comment 1 if you've ever experienced this kind of breakthrough. Comment 2 if you're still in the middle of that storm, wondering what it all means. Many fail to realize that the universe always whispers before it shouts, sending gentle signs and subtle nudges before major shifts take place. The tragedy is that most people misread these signs as bad luck or setbacks, giving up just before their breakthrough arrives. But not you. The fact that you're here shows that you are paying attention. Today, I'll share 7 powerful signs that your life is on the edge of deep transformation. If even 3 of these resonate with you, it means a new reality is already taking shape. The first sign is this: you begin questioning everything you once believed about life. If you've recently found yourself re-examining your beliefs, values, goals, or even your sense of purpose, this is not random. It's happening because something deep within you has already started to change, though the transformation may not yet show. Outwardly, it is real. It feels as though the old mental frameworks you once depended on are breaking down. While this can be unsettling, that discomfort is sacred, it signifies that you are awakening to a new version of yourself. The universe is calling you to re-examine everything you once took for granted: your reality, your relationships, your path. This is not a crisis, but an awakening, an invitation to dismantle illusions so you can step into something far greater than you've ever envisioned. This shift in outlook is essential for your growth. It shows that your mind is ready to broaden, to embrace new possibilities, and to move into a future that aligns with your higher self. Questions like, who am I really? What do I truly desire? Am I living in alignment with my soul's purpose? Are not just abstract reflections. They are gateways. Once you step through, there's no return. The world begins to feel strange as things that once seemed clear lose their meaning. Certainties dissolve, and although it may feel as though you're losing your balance in truth, you are discovering your true path. This sense of disorientation is the universe's method of clearing space, allowing the authentic you to emerge free from outdated roles, expectations, and narratives. It is a form of spiritual cleansing, a shedding of the false self, so the true self can be reborn. In its wisdom, the universe removes the mask's illusions and outdated identities, leaving only what is genuine and real. Though it feels like chaos, it is in fact creation. You are being rebuilt, stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true essence. Have you ever felt lost only to realize later that it was actually the start of a new beginning? Comment 1 if you've felt that kind of sacred chaos. Comment 2 if you're still searching for clarity in the confusion. Remember, questioning is not a diversion. It is the start of the journey. You are not losing your path. You are beginning to see it clearly. Yes, it's frightening when the familiar crumbles, but that collapse makes room for something greater. You are not broken. You are breaking free. It's not only your beliefs that are being tested. You may find that your relationships, habits, and even daily routines are starting to shift. People whose energy no longer matches yours may drift away. Situations that once brought comfort may now feel restrictive. This happens because you are shedding everything that no longer resonates with your new vibration. Consider it an inner cleansing, a filter that keeps only what nourishes your soul while letting go of the rest. And yes, this requires letting go of comfort zones, familiar pains, and the illusion of control. Though difficult, because these may have once felt like pieces of your identity, they are not who you truly are. They were simply tools for an earlier stage of your life. What follows this release is where the magic lies, a new version of yourself, more resilient, more aware, and more aligned with your truest essence. You will start to feel it, a subtle yet powerful sensation, a blend of fear and excitement, as though something significant and extraordinary is approaching. This is no coincidence. It is your intuition speaking. It signals that your consciousness is expanding and that you are dissolving the self-imposed limitations of the past. As those inner walls collapse, something beautiful begins to emerge. New dreams, renewed purpose, and fresh energy. It is like clearing weeds from a garden so that vibrant life can flourish. And this is where the true magic unfolds. You'll begin receiving answers, though not in the ways you anticipate. They may arrive through chance encounters, synchronistic events, a stranger's remark, or even a book that unexpectedly finds its way into your life. These moments, though appearing random, hold messages meant just for you. Even if the full answers aren't clear yet, you will sense it. You are on the right path. The very act of questioning itself is transformation in progress. This is not weakness, but wisdom. The wisdom that arises when you stop pretending and begin listening to yourself, to your soul, and to the universe. As you lean further into this process, you will see the external world start to mirror your inner transformation. This is the beauty of alignment. Your reality shifts not because the world itself has altered, but because you have. You've elevated your frequency, opened your awareness, and reclaimed your power. So do not fear the questions. Instead, welcome them. Embrace the uncertainty and allow yourself to feel the discomfort, for it is proof of your growth. Every profound transformation begins this way with confusion, doubt, and the feeling of coming undone. But in truth, you are not falling apart. You are falling into place. Once you surrender to the process, you will begin to notice the signs the universe has always been sending. They were there all along, simply waiting for you to be ready. And this leads to the second sign. You begin to sense a deepening disconnection from your past. This is one of the clearest and strongest signals that you are about to step into a new chapter of life. It is not sudden, but gradual, a subtle change that starts deep within, often so quietly that you hardly notice. Yet over time, the activities, motivations, and passions that once energized you begin to lose their hold. Perhaps you've noticed that hobbies, conversations, or routines that once brought joy now feel empty. It's as though you're viewing the same world, but through different eyes that no longer brighten, at familiar sights, ears that no longer resonate with the same sounds. People you once felt deeply connected to, and places that once felt like home now seem distant, even foreign. The emotions once attached to those experiences have faded, leaving instead a quiet sense of detachment. This shift is not by chance. It is not a temporary mood or a passing phase. It is something much deeper and more profound. It is your soul softly yet firmly urging you onward, signaling that you've outgrown certain moments, relationships, and former versions of yourself. As your perception of life evolves, so too do your goals, desires, values, and connections. Suddenly, the very things that once shaped your identity no longer feel like they are yours. They seem like echoes of a past life, shadows of a self you've already outgrown. It can be confusing. You may not know exactly where you're heading or who you're becoming. But one thing is clear: you cannot return. You can no longer pretend that the old life matches the new version of you. It doesn't. Old routines, the job that once defined your value, the social circles where you once belonged, and even the thoughts that shaped your daily life all begin to unravel. While this unraveling can feel unsettling and like a loss, it is also one of the clearest signs of transformation. It is your inner self making space, shedding its old skin so that a life more aligned with your true essence can emerge. Releasing the familiar is never easy. There is a kind of grief in letting go of parts of your identity that once seemed permanent. Yet this disconnection is not a punishment. It is preparation. It is creating space for what is to come. Imagine it as a clearing in a forest newly opened through time and change, ready to welcome new life. What is arriving may not yet be visible, but it is already quietly growing beneath the surface. Your fading interest in the past is a sacred message from the universe, assuring you, even if you don't yet grasp it fully, that something new is approaching. This is not about discarding everything you've known, but about freeing yourself from what has already served its purpose. It is loosening your hold on attachments that no longer foster growth. You are entering a period where you are being asked to release the roles you once played, the patterns you've repeated, and the masks you've worn. You are being invited to step into a life that reflects who you are becoming rather than who you once were. This transformation may not always make sense. It can feel uncertain, as though the ground beneath you is shifting. Yet within that uncertainty lies the promise of something beautiful: expansion, rebirth, and the chance to rediscover yourself in ways you never thought possible. This sense of detachment is only the beginning. Beneath it lies a series of inner changes. You start to notice that your beliefs are shifting, especially the limiting ones you once accepted without question. That former version of yourself, who lived by external expectations and followed the crowd, begins to fade away. You begin to challenge what you once took for granted. Perhaps you look inward more often, realizing the outside world no longer contains all the answers. Perhaps you sense your old structures crumbling, not to destroy you, but to set you free. You may even find it hard to define who you are in this new space. Yet despite the uncertainty, one truth is undeniable: you are no longer the same. You are evolving, expanding, and the old skin no longer fits. Deep inside, there is a burning desire to be reborn, to step into a self that is braver, freer, and more authentic. You may not yet know exactly what that version looks like, but you can feel its call. As this disconnection grows stronger, fear may arise. The fear of letting go, of losing what is familiar, and of stepping into the unknown. Yet alongside that fear lies a sense of freedom. Liberation comes from no longer needing to cling to your former self. True strength is found in letting go of what no longer serves your highest purpose. That hollow feeling inside you is not emptiness, but potential, the seedbed of new beginnings. It signals that something more aligned with your soul is ready to unfold. While it may feel uncomfortable, growth often is, and that very discomfort becomes the doorway to clarity. With time, clarity arrives. You cease looking outward for answers and stop depending on others to shape your path. Instead, you turn inward, learning to trust your intuition, your heart, and your soul. The external noise fades, replaced by a calm inner voice that becomes your compass, your truth. You release the past and no longer attempt to revive what is gone. Instead, you embrace possibility, allowing yourself to evolve into a truer version of yourself, not the one formed by fear, duty, or expectations, but the authentic self that has always waited beneath the surface. So if you feel yourself drifting from your old identity, if your previous life no longer suits you, if once cherished people, habits, or dreams now feel distant, remember this: your soul is guiding you. It is leading you toward a new beginning. This separation is not an ending, but a sacred start to the transformation you were always meant to undergo. The true journey is only just unfolding. Third sign: you begin to question the very things you once believed were essential. What once felt vital now carries little weight, as though you are viewing life from an entirely new perspective. The worries that used to consume you lose their hold. Material goals, societal expectations, and other people's opinions gradually fade in the light of something deeper and more meaningful. You start reflecting on what truly matters to you. Career wealth or recognition appear only as fragments of a much larger picture you hadn't previously seen. You come to understand that life's real purpose is not about meeting society's standards, but about living in harmony with what authentically resonates within you. It feels like a filter has been lifted, revealing the essence of who you are. This inner questioning, though, is not without difficulty. It can stir confusion and uncertainty, leaving you feeling adrift in conflicting thoughts. Yet this state of not knowing becomes fertile ground for growth, where new insights arise from within rather than from external voices. You begin to realize that fulfillment is found not in possessions, but in experiences that feed your soul and relationships that nurture your spirit. This self-examination can even lead to a profound reevaluation of your life's purpose. Why are you here? What do you genuinely wish to experience? Though answers may not appear immediately, you sense yourself opening to new opportunities. What once felt indispensable loses its influence, creating space for fresh passions and a deeper yearning to connect with what truly matters. This signals your preparation for a powerful transformation. The universe is gently guiding you toward genuine fulfillment and your authentic path. While the process may initially feel uncertain, it is in truth the threshold to a more conscious life aligned with your essence. This transformation in perspective tends to unfold gradually, but once it begins, you can no longer deny it. You start realizing that the things that once gave you comfort now feel empty. The pressure to conform to society's definition of success no longer drives you. Instead, a new energy arises, drawing you toward a more genuine life, one less shaped by external demands. This journey isn't merely about discarding the old, it's also about making space for the new. Forgotten passions or long abandoned interests begin resurfacing while new areas of curiosity capture your attention. You stop striving to fit into predetermined systems or familiar paths. Instead, you search for a way forward that reflects your true values and authentic purpose, the path only you can create. This phase of questioning may also bring a temporary feeling of loneliness. Initially, you might feel disconnected from old friends or your familiar social circles. This distance is a natural step as you move away from external pressures to uncover your inner truth. But do not fear, it is only temporary. That solitude becomes fertile ground for self-awareness to grow. With time, you begin to draw people who share your evolving perspective, those who align with your new vision. When you grow, sometimes old friendships fade and new ones appear. Have you noticed this shift in your own journey? Comment 1 if you've found new connections aligned with your growth. Comment 2 if you're still in that in-between stage of letting go. It feels like a reset. What no longer serves you falls away while renewed energy connects you with what truly matters. This questioning isn't a breakdown, but an awakening one that prepares you for something greater, deeper, and more aligned with your purpose. Although the path may feel uncertain at first, you will come to see that it is precisely what was needed to step into your fullest self. Fourth sign, you notice a stronger connection to your intuition than ever before. This striking shift often emerges just as you prepare to take a major leap in life. It feels as though a new level of clarity has awakened within you. Suddenly, everything seems more meaningful, and your decisions feel more natural. What once felt uncertain now appears obvious. No longer overwhelmed by the noise of your thoughts, you sense an inner guidance pointing the way forward. Intuition becomes that inner voice, that gut feeling, directing you even without complete answers or logical reasoning. It's a deep knowing that something aligns with your authentic self, even if you cannot explain why. The key is to trust this wisdom. As you do, making choices becomes easier because you're acting from a deeper, truer part of yourself. This awakening of intuition doesn't occur instantly. It usually begins subtly, with a hunch nudging you toward a new path, or a sudden calm that steadies you in moments of uncertainty. At first, it may be difficult to notice, as the distractions of daily life often drown out that quiet voice. Yet the more space you give it, and the more you listen, the stronger and clearer it becomes. Intuition can manifest in many ways, perhaps as a physical feeling in your body, a sudden thought, or even an inexplicable certainty about someone or something. As you become more attuned to it, you'll notice your decisions no longer rely solely on logic. Instead, they arise from a deeper knowing aligned with your essence. You may not fully understand why something attracts or repels you, but that inner certainty marks the start of a profound transformation about to take shape. As you deepen your connection with intuition, you'll begin to see patterns where life once seemed random or chaotic, as though puzzle pieces are finally coming together. Life begins to flow with greater ease, and you feel in a way beyond explanation that you're in the right place at the right time, doing exactly what you're meant to do. The urge to overanalyze fades, replaced by trust that your intuition is leading you in the right direction. This awakening sharpens your awareness, enabling you to notice what once went unnoticed. You begin reading between the lines, sensing the energy of people and situations, and understanding more deeply what is really unfolding around you. Often it's less about the words spoken and more about the feelings behind them. And now you're far more receptive to those subtle signals. The most remarkable aspect of this sign is that as you grow in trust of your intuition, you experience a profound peace and security unlike anything before. Even without knowing all the answers, even while the future remains uncertain, the powerful sense of alignment with your purpose anchors you. Fear and doubt lose their influence, for your choices now arise, not from fear, but from a deep understanding of yourself and your connection to the universe. This signals the start of a new stage of self-discovery and empowerment. As you deepen your ability to listen to intuition, the decisions you make begin drawing you closer to your authentic self. Life begins to move with an ease and harmony you never thought possible, simply because you are now aligned with the natural rhythm of your being. Indeed, you feel increasingly pulled toward personal growth. As this new chapter begins, your mind expands in ways it never has before. You are no longer satisfied with past knowledge or with the version of yourself you once settled for. Instead, a deep urge for growth begins rising within you. You don't want to merely exist. You want to evolve, improve, and push beyond your limits. This drive for expansion begins shaping your thoughts and actions, leading you to actively seek knowledge through books, courses, experiences, or conversations with people who challenge your perspective. Knowledge, new skills, and transformative experiences attract you with an intensity you've never felt before. It feels as if you are hungry for growth, eager to become a more authentic and empowered version of yourself. This thirst for learning and self-discovery pushes you to explore hidden aspects of your being, both passions you had overlooked and limitations you never dared to confront. You feel a sense of urgency, recognizing that now is the moment to seize every chance to reinvent yourself. And this journey is not driven solely by intellectual curiosity. It is fueled by a deep longing to feel whole, to live in closer alignment with your values and purpose. This desire for growth taps into a transformative energy, one that makes you feel as if nothing is impossible. By embracing evolution, you become more willing to let go of limiting beliefs and open yourself to new perspectives that propel you forward. At this point, personal development is no longer optional. It becomes an inner necessity that influences every aspect of your life. What once looked like a clear and structured path now feels uncertain, as if you are being called to discover new directions, new ways of thinking, and new approaches to living. Growth is no longer optional, it is a priority. You feel ready to embark on a journey that won't only alter your external world, but also transform your inner self in ways beyond your current understanding. You begin to ask profound questions. Who am I really? What is my purpose? What do I truly want from life? This season of questioning is no coincidence. This is a strong indication that your mind is prepared to grow, to move beyond the comfort zone you once believed was sufficient. You're not merely looking for answers, you long for transformation that raises your awareness to a level where the ordinary feels extraordinary. At the same time, you're drawn toward healing, not just in intellect, but emotionally and spiritually. You begin to face past wounds, restrictive beliefs, and mental habits that no longer benefit you, ready to release them. You recognize that only by letting go of the past can space be made for the new. Though the process may be difficult, it becomes one of the most rewarding parts of your path toward a more genuine self. Your focus shifts more toward what is truly important: growth, connection, and authenticity. These values begin to outweigh the minor concerns and shallow distractions that once held your attention. You are prepared to step beyond daily habits and embrace meaningful changes that align with your deepest aspirations. You may begin surrounding yourself with those who also yearn for growth and transformation. People who challenge you, encourage different thinking, and inspire fresh perspectives. You're no longer chasing outside approval or holding on to outdated beliefs. Instead, you seek a deeper, more authentic life, one that reflects your truest self. Sign number 6. You begin to feel a strong urge to free yourself from toxic relationships and situations that no longer align with your growth. At this stage, you notice that certain people and environments that once felt like home now appear out of place. What you once tolerated, excused, or accepted as normal now feels heavy, draining, and misaligned with who you are becoming. You're not just moving past these dynamics, you're evolving beyond them. What was once familiar or even comforting no longer matches your shifting values, deeper purpose, or sense of inner peace. You are experiencing a profound transformation, making it impossible to overlook the weight of what has been restraining you. It feels as though you are waking from a long slumber, realizing that some of the people and patterns you clung to never truly supported your growth. They only kept you stagnant. Now, a shift has taken place within you, bringing clarity and a heightened awareness that you no longer wish to remain trapped in connections that sap your energy or keep you emotionally unsettled. No matter how long you've known someone, how much energy you've invested, or how familiar a situation seems, if it does not nurture your growth, it must be released. You no longer fear the uncertainty that accompanies change, because staying in a place that feels wrong is now more painful than facing the unknown. This desire to distance yourself from toxic energy is not about rejection or resentment. It's about honoring yourself with love, choosing peace, clarity, and the protection of your energy is not selfish. It is self-respect. You're coming to realize that in order to become the best version of yourself, you must be willing to walk away from what diminishes your light. You cannot create a future that feels authentic while staying tied to past relationships that no longer reflect your identity. What is unfolding within you is an act of sacred self-liberation, an awakening that you deserve to be surrounded by those who uplift you, challenge you to grow, and love you for who you genuinely are. You're not searching for perfection, but for authenticity, honesty, mutual respect, and emotional safety. Although letting go can be painful, since endings are rarely easy, it is also one of the most empowering acts you can choose for yourself. It affirms that your well-being matters, your peace matters, and that your time, heart, and energy are valuable. You no longer wish to sacrifice these things out of comfort or fear. You now recognize that holding on to what is familiar is not worth the price of stalling your personal evolution. As you let go of what no longer serves you, something beautiful unfolds. You begin drawing people and experiences that truly align with your soul. New connections emerge, feeling light, expansive, and inspiring. You find yourself surrounded by those who understand you, support your journey, and encourage your dreams instead of belittling them. These relationships enrich your life. They do not drain you, but energize and uplift you. Gradually, you begin to rebuild. A new chapter unfolds, filled with genuine connections that replace superficial ties, relationships that not only occupy space, but nourish your spirit. You stop accepting half-hearted bonds and begin welcoming love, whether from friends, family, or romance, that truly sees, hears, and respects you. This marks your readiness for a new and extraordinary phase of life, one where you are deeply aligned with your authentic self. A life where peace takes priority, your heart feels safe, and your soul is free to grow, love, and live without limits. This is more than just a transition. It is your rebirth. Sign number 7. You start to experience a strong disconnection from everything that no longer serves your growth. Entering this new phase of life, you notice that what once felt essential, valuable, or irreplaceable now holds little weight. It feels as though something within you has shifted, your perspective is evolving, your energy is transforming, and the things that once defined your world are now fading into the background. Relationships that once felt essential may now seem strained or distant. Activities that once brought joy may feel repetitive or empty. Even familiar places that once comforted you might suddenly feel unfamiliar. This does not mean your past was a mistake or your choices were wrong. It simply means you are evolving. You are shedding old layers of identity that no longer fit, stepping into a version of yourself that is more aligned. As a result, aspects of your old life naturally fall away. This sense of disconnection may feel unsettling at first, bringing moments of confusion, sadness, or nostalgia. You may wonder, why don't I enjoy this anymore? Or why do I feel so distant from people I once loved? Yet beneath this discomfort lies a quiet but unmistakable sense of freedom. It feels like inhaling fresh air after being in a closed space for too long. You may not fully grasp what is happening, but deep down, you know it is time to release. You start recognizing that certain habits, routines, or even thought patterns no longer match your present state of being. What once absorbed your focus now barely affects you. Old fears loosen their hold, and constant worries lose urgency. While this shift may bring a sense of loss, it also delivers a deep peace. A sacred stillness follows the act of letting go an inner calm you hadn't felt before. You're not only releasing the old, but also creating space for the new. And this new is not merely external. It's a deeper alignment with who you are truly becoming. This transformation isn't sudden. It unfolds gradually, almost quietly. Day by day, the shift grows stronger. You may wake one morning realizing you no longer feel passion for something that once defined you, or notice that conversations with certain people now leave you drained instead of inspired. This is not an act of betrayal, nor about discarding your past or rejecting those in it. It is about honoring your evolution and recognizing that growth often requires outgrowing. You are developing a more refined awareness of what truly matters. Your inner compass is being reset, guiding you to understand that moving forward requires releasing whatever no longer nourishes your soul, whether that be a job, a friendship, a belief system, or even an outdated version of yourself. This process is sacred and forms an essential part of your becoming. Though it may not always be easy, it is necessary. Remember, the universe guides us in unique ways, sometimes gently, other times suddenly, but always with purpose. If you are reading these words and they resonate even slightly, know it is not by chance. You were meant to receive this message. Something within you is awakening, and a deeper wisdom is surfacing. And if you choose to follow and trust this inner knowing, you will step into a chapter of life where everything begins to make sense. What unfolds when you fully take charge of your life, guided by these signs? What changes when you stop holding on to the past and start embracing what is destined for you? A profound awakening awaits one that holds the power to transform everything you once believed you knew. You are not merely altering your circumstances, you are expanding your consciousness. You are aligning with a reality where peace, clarity, and authenticity become your foundation. This marks the beginning of something extraordinary. Stay curious, stay open. The path ahead is not only about growth, but about deep transformation. You are not alone on this journey. If you feel drawn to continue exploring your personal evolution, keep walking with us. There is much more to discover. We will meet again soon and continue growing, expanding, and stepping into the truth of who we truly are. Transformation is a lifelong journey, and yours is already unfolding. Comment 1 if you feel you're stepping into a new chapter right now. Comment 2 if you sense change is coming, but you're still waiting for the breakthrough.